This is Woodlands, without doubt the regional hub of the north today. While it is part of the larger Sembawang GRC, Woodlands for many is made up of the divisions of Sembawang, Marsiling, Admiralty, and of course Woodlands itself. With beautiful HDB flats and served by a vast array of amenities, it is easy to forget that Woodlands, beneath its modern veneer, was a very different place not too long ago.
With this project, I hope that the children in Woodlands would have a very good understanding of how this area came about, what sort of history was in this area. I do think that with this project, we will imbibe in a lot of school children in Woodlands what it means to be a Singaporean, what it means to have a sense of history, to have a sense of achievement, and to know from the past how we should go forward.
For a long time, and for most Singaporeans, Woodlands was just a sleepy place tucked in the north. Indeed, that was not too far from the truth. In the 19th century, the area was a forest, and if you were looking from Johor Bahru at that time, you would have seen a curtain of Karanji trees stretching across Singapore's northern shoreline.
In the past, we have had forests here, plantations. This is the sort of view that people from across the causeway can see us. So I think this is why we have the name of Woodlands.
Woodlands was also just the place you passed through while travelling to or from Johor. But did you know that the causeway was opened only in 1923? Before that, people had to take the ferry to get to Johor and back. Today, Woodlands is still where the immigration and customs checkpoint is located, only that it is spanking new, like most other things in this town. Just less than 50 years ago, Woodlands was one of Singapore's most rural areas. Amidst the lalang and the trees lived the squatters in attic or zinc huts.
没有电，就是用那个爆木灯啊。还有一个时候，乡村这边是用那个私人的 generator， 它 supply 进你的家的一个 portion line 啊，5块钱每个月。
暗暝啊，我哋行落来，惊咧就真多狗。有时啊，行咧有蛇咧，知无？鸟鼠也是大只，就比个狗啊，你看两种，真大只来嘅。出来有时忽然间啊，你悄悄起来吼，一直生就起来，那就多了。
现在水是比较少了，因为在外面啊，多人住的地方啊，大多数它设一个 standby 在外面，人家要去那边漂回来了，去那边洗衣。
The Malay one was more fishing, they were very fishermen, they had kelongs, especially the Lorong Fatimah village.
We can swim to the open sea, but the current is very tight now, we only swim at the river. The water is clean before.
Looking back, growing up in Woodlands might seem idyllic, but it was not quite as fun earning a living.
古时的生活是相当艰苦的。马车岭外口有一个龙头，迄泥弄的头，逐日去内面去刮树呢。这是印度人、马来人、中国人拢种，唐人拢种。 常常在内面挂呢，饲猪、饲鱼，种出来十滴滴的菜咯。
有时咱家己要食就摕去食，唔食咱就摕去卖。旧时啊，早就载就去这个乌兰去青山卖啊。
Mr. Yeo recalls that some villages also grew tobacco and sold it as ang hun, popular with those who rolled their own cigarettes, and that Rothmans, a cigarette company, even got some to grow tobacco by providing the seeds.
差不多我一个月啦，要存钱，有可能较艰苦淡。
When it comes to Hoksoon and the Kampong Sungai, China, you see all the chicken running or the... But one thing, you can get the best chicken, the best eggs, and you can get even the traditional massages and all that from there, and traditional herbal medicines, which can cure anything when cold, and it's very effective.
在乡村都进来全部是泥土的啦，泥土了，就是乡村人也就是要来补气的，有时候画有洞啦。
Most of them are mud rag, and usually the villagers cut their own tracks for their movement. And then they name their own. I think they have names for their small.
下雨天小孩子读书，有的要把鞋子拿开起来，拿着手指走啊，走到外面去再穿回去哦，这样啊，被怕肮脏到学校，一个红鞋。
Green bus, actually, the inconvenience was that sometimes we need to wait half an hour, 40 minutes or 1 hour just to get a bus.
它的 bus 比较没有这样好啦，这个银主是木的啦，跑起来是很多声音的啦。
Not only they bring along themselves, they bring chicken, all the chicken, the duck, and all the insects. It's so smelly and all that.
这个南桥小屋，伊的机器拢总是日本对迄道开放空河，啊，个夹路尾市面开刀夹伊的材料来起这个南桥起来。
We have a shop, but not as a big shop like Bukit Panjang and Bukit Timah. Our area is very small. Much choice. We only have one Kranji clinic, but one is a paying one. But we have a free one. We have to go to Jalan Tekwai.
玩要娱乐，要去johor看戏啊，这戏院在马来西亚在johor Bahru哦。那时候johor Bahru跟新加坡啊，7、8块5分钱，有时候不必还钱，走路都过去就可以。
联络所迄阵有一个电视机，出名就真正坐来看。迄阵旧时的电视机真正少。
The community center was where most people went to pass the time. Chinese operas were also popular when they came around. But what else did the villagers do in their spare time, especially at night?
Nothing to do. Where to go? What entertainment Monday have? The jungle there, you know? They have the big lao khao, you know?
The British were the first to raise the idea of building a new town in Woodlands. But it was the Singapore government that got round to doing it.
我李冠英来这里是1963年3月3日，那时候是来下乡访问。我们外面做一个大牌楼啊，环境它，讲什么我都没有应该忘记了。可是那时候他有讲，为了要做一个很美的新镇了，这个的大新镇 ，New Town，big New Town 了。
Redevelopment meant resettling the squatters, but that took a bit of time.
但是有时伊赶出来是点正， 伊赶咱本无临时行啦，会做，那你赶哦，我去再种，敢种唔知2摆3摆就收住啦，去种2、3摆收住无？迄2、3摆收住嘛是2万多币，我钱来去啦，我就种米就出来啦，种这肉啊，这肉去啊。
This place, next to the immigration and customs checkpoint, was one of the earlier places to be developed. Then, it was shoppers from Johor who came here to buy things. But the flats at Woodlands did not attract many Singaporeans.
It was really relatively, in Singapore terms, very rural, very ulu.
The older parts, I realized at that time, didn't quite have the facilities suitable or needed by the older residents.
Prior to 97, very few people wanted to live in Woodlands because there was hardly anything here.
For years, many flats in Woodlands remained empty.
No one wanted to come here, even when the HDB flat came up in other places of Singapore. Nobody wanted to come to Woodlands until a government stepped in to bring up all the facilities for us.
When I came to Woodlands, the place where we are now was more like a forest. It almost takes about one hour plus to move to the town. The place where you see now the Woodlands MRT station, it was actually a hilltop. So when they first started to build the MRT station, they had a hard time cracking it open because it's granites inside, you see. So they have to blast it, and then it disappeared. And then this MRT station came up.
In many ways, it was the MRT line to Woodlands that changed everything.
Since the construction of the MRT, it has actually provided a lifeline to Woodlands new town. And with the development of the regional centre, it is actually the heartbeat of the town.
With the MRT station and the bus services, I think we are within half an hour, or the most by 45 minutes we can reach any part of Singapore.
The accessibility has actually attracted a lot of young families to come over to Woodlands new town.
And with more residents, more businesses were set up, and of course, more amenities.
It is tremendous. I can't believe in what is here now, from what it was, what I've seen. Because it's so convenient now.
Now, not only Causeway Point, every estate in Woodlands, they have small mini-marts where they have everything. They have electronic shops, they have bookstores, everything. So not necessary for a person staying in one corner of the Woodlands to always come to Causeway Point. They can still get their things within their area.
Amazingly, there are quite a number of new schools coming up in Woodlands, which I am glad because at least my son has an option to choose.
Cái政府厝啊，咱是毋是讲对政府厝是卫生是真好啦，也无蚊，也无啥物的哎呀，咱旧时啊，徛伫这个巴内啊，就用这个网豆啊，咱当今出来这外面免啦，无网豆啊，跟他是这卫生真好啦。
Older generation have been telling me what it was like in those days, and of course, it is really beyond their wildest dreams that Woodlands have become what it is today.
What the government has done is excellent. Even the housing, they made the place so clear. They cleared up the whole villages. It's so clean.
With all the modern amenities and even more in the pipeline, Woodlands today is anything but rural. That said, the area has managed to retain a lot of its old charm.
There's still open area where you can have fresh air. It's not as in town where you see everywhere you turn is blocks. Down here you still can go and have a nice park which is open with fresh air. That's what I like about Woodlands.
我这政府叫你讲你有来来慢慢去，你会使去放水到起，一个买山顶开我买，你也无车无什么，当去买你爱哈，就无了。
Yeah, I'm happy here. My son asked me to sell the flat, even though a lot of people keep calling. I stay 8th floor. Mommy, don't sell. I said, why? I like it here.
Indeed, this is the common response from residents. Woodlands today is not only a regional centre, it is also one of the largest HDB new towns in Singapore, and the place where nearly 200,000 Woodlanders proudly call home. Without doubt, the awakening and transformation of Woodlands have been spectacular. What's certain is that there is still much more for residents to look forward to.
I am a Woodlander at heart, and I think one must have the drive to build up Woodlands to be as good a place as any in Singapore. And this means good schools, good facilities.
But perhaps more important than the facilities is the bonding of Woodlanders to foster a sense of togetherness.
We live in a multi-racial, multi-religious society. So it is a challenge to the CDC to bond our people. The second challenge is the looking of a fast-aging population. There are special needs of this elderly population which we must prepare for the future. The third challenge is actually to inspire our young to be more involved in the community in terms of volunteering their services to help those in need in the community.
What has amazed me is the spirit of volunteerism among the grassroots leaders and residents. What I think we can look forward to is deeper bonding, broader cohesion among residents, especially those newcomers into Woodlands New Town. I would consider Marsiling or Woodlands as my second home. The residents there are very warm, they're very friendly and very helpful. I must say, I'm very grateful for the support and encouragement that they have given me.
It is not what the government can do for us, it is not what the grassroots organizations can do for us. It is what we ourselves want to do for our families, for our children and so on. So I hope that with this sense of history, they can see the way in which previous generations have developed Singapore, and that the burden would pass on them to develop Singapore even further.